Hello and welcome back to Daily Drives. Today we have the 2020 Volvo XC60 with the T5 engine. We already had a look at that engine in the S60 review that we did, where we also mentioned the history of Volvo, who started it, and why we are at this point with their new minimalistic design. So today we're going to avoid that and go directly into this car, talking about the interior, exterior, and take it for a drive. All right, so if you haven't heard, Volvo has completely redesigned their whole lineup, including the XC60. And all of their cars come with three basic variants. You have the entry-level Momentum, you've got the R design, which is the more sportier version that the S60 had we reviewed, and the Inscription, the final word in luxury Volvos. And on top of that, you can get the Pro version. Has a little bit more kit, costs a little bit more, and is not as financially smart as this particular car that we have here today. It has the T5 engine, which is a 4-cylinder, 2-liter turbocharged motor, producing 254 horsepower and 258 pound-feet of torque, which is pretty much more than enough for your day-to-day driving routine, but you could also have fun with it when you want to. So the Inscription differs from its other siblings in the lineup because it has this beautiful front grille, which is my favorite out of the whole Volvo lineup, as well as it gets 19-inch wheels as standard. It has Inscription logos here and there, and this beautiful chrome piece on the side profile of the car that really complements the luminous sand metallic color this car has. I mean, I really like it. It's just very pretty. And just like all the other cars in the Volvo lineup, you do have the Thor Hammer LED lights at the front, as well as beautiful taillights at the back. They're a bit different than the sedan versions because of the size. Now, when it does come to size, I mean, with Volvo, you just pick and choose how much space you need inside, and that's pretty much it. They all pretty much look fairly similar, but I think that's a good thing, because if you like the brand, you can just go for a bigger car if you have a family, or a smaller one if you just want more driving pleasure for yourself. So the interior is where everything gets really interesting. I mean, the Inscription comes with standard of lighter colors than the R design that we reviewed in the S60. These aren't the Napa leather seats, however, because they're not perforated, so they don't come with heated or cooled functions, but they're still quite comfortable, as well as you also get the key in the same color that your seats come with. The Inscription package gets this beautiful wood trim, and that combined with the aluminum elements and the piano blacks, which we're not really fans of, but it does look good when it's clean. An important part of an SUV is storage. So down here, when you unveil the wood trim, you have two cup holders. Up here, you have a very small pocket. I mean, there's not much you can literally put in there. It also has a CD player, which is weird for the 21st century. And this car comes with a smoking package with a little ashtray up here. If you don't get the smoking package, you just get a little storage place for like minuscule things. And also on both sides, the door pockets offer a very respectable amount of space for things you don't want to have flying around in the middle. So just like the rest of the Volvo lineup, you do get quite a bit of tech. You have the same vertical screen that you pretty much see in every single model, which is very responsive and quite enjoyable to use because it's very simple. The main screen, you have your navigation, your Bluetooth settings, your phone, your song, basic options that you expect from every car. You can swipe to the left for more features when it comes to safety, and if they're annoying, you can turn them off, as well as you still have that quirky function of moving the passenger seat if you have kids in the back and they're annoying you by kicking your beautiful leather, you can move the seat out of the way. The annoying thing about these new Volvos is that you have to use the touchscreen to change the climate controls instead of having physical buttons, which can prove to be quite unsafe while driving. So just like the S60, you can pair your profile to your keys. So let's say, for example, you have more than one person using the car and have multiple keys. Each one of those persons can save their favorite settings or personal settings to that key. So every time you get into the car, everything comes to your position. And finally, you also get a digital screen instead of a normal speedo. That's also something Volvo is putting in most of their cars, and it's very nice to look at it. You can control it to look a little bit more sporty or less sporty, depending on how you feel. And at the back, you still get the same comfort you do in the front. You get the same leather. I do have a lot of space for my knees. This is my driving position, not Casper's lean all the way back gangster position. As well as here in the middle, I have a nice armrest with a little storage bin here. I'm not sure for what, but it is there. And a deeper one here, but it's not too crazy. And if you're wondering where the cup holders are, well, you can just open this up and place your drinks there. Another option you do get in the back is that you can control your climate, and it's a very simple minimalistic design. I quite like that, as well as you do get the nice ISOFIX system, and it's oh my God, it's going crazy right now. Stop! I'm under attack by air conditioning. You also get the nice ISOFIX channels, which are right here, and these pop out and they kind of stay there so you don't lose them and you don't scratch your leather when you're putting in your child seat. And also in the back, you have child booster seats. So you just pull this latch, stick them in place, and it's there. And finally, the side pockets in the back are quite deep, so you can put in large bottles of water in the side. So all in all, it's a very thought out interior. So we know that the interior of the Volvo XC60 is very practical, but when it comes to the boot, Volvo decided to focus on the exterior more than the amount of practicality you get with this. For example, inside you can only fit 635 liters of stuff, and that's everything packed to the brim, which is less than its major rivals. But one thing you do get is a low lip, so it's easy to put items inside. And that's it from me. Now I'm gonna hand you over to Casper, who's gonna take this thing for a drive and tell you what it's really like.
Well, what this car definitely is familiar. As Osama mentioned, I drove the S60 about 3 weeks ago, and to be very honest, from an interior standpoint, this car is more or less the same. With the exception of one thing, of course, which is the fact that this is a medium-sized SUV, and it being an SUV, it does unfortunately come with two SUV problems, one of which is the acceleration. You ready? I mean, it's there, it's just not very quick. Understandably, this car is slightly heavier and slightly bulkier, so to speak, but does still have the 254 horsepower engine. So I imagine that's probably the reason why it lacks on the performance aspect. Secondly, this car has quite a bit of body roll. I mean, we're driving around these twisty little roads when we do these shoots, and it definitely does lean left to right, which is to be expected. I mean, cars of this size and height usually tend to do that. Volvo has tried to fix this problem by adding some sportier and stiffer suspension, but have they done it? Unfortunately not. Now, sitting here thinking about it, the last 2 points are valid, but very much overshadowed once you start driving the car, because the moment you put it on highway conditions and you put it in its adaptive cruise control and its pilot assist, the car basically drives on your behalf. I mean, I've driven this car for 2 hours not having touched the brake pedal nor the accelerator pedal, and I've just held the steering wheel ever so slightly rather than do the physical steering myself. And that's a very good point to this car. It is incredibly relaxing to drive this car. You really feel that, because the moment I leave this and go to my own personal vehicle and drive home, I really find myself missing three key things, which is the comfort of the seats, the adaptive cruise control, and the pilot assist. I have to go back to steering myself and sitting in uncomfortable chairs. It's terrible. Now, to round off this particular review, I'm going to leave you thinking about one thing. Volvo is a cut price alternative to a German rival. That's just a fact. You get a lot of options with this car. You get a lot of tech with this car. It's incredibly handsome, and you buy a lot for the money. But the money shocks people because the amount for this car isn't cheap. But you really need to go there, get in one, and see what you're getting for the money. And on top of that, the one thing that this car has that, I mean, as far as I know, no other company here has, is a lifetime warranty. Could you imagine? You buy this car tomorrow, and you literally have never got to worry about anything going wrong with the car without Volvo taking care of it. That's incredible. That's the best point to focus on when considering to buy an XC60 or any Volvo, as a matter of fact. It makes me want one. 'Cause I hate having headaches with my car. And with that, thank you so much for watching. We hope you enjoyed this video. Let us know down in the comment section what you think of the Volvo XC60. And last but not least, don't forget to like and, of course, subscribe with the bell notifications on. It does really help the channel. Once again, thank you so much. See you next time. Autopilot on.